Hello and welcome to Eden Live, where I am reading all of Eden by FREI live on Facebook and on YouTube, with the recorded clips then making their way onto Instagram, IGTV. We are now entering the second part of the Bournemouth Boscombe Trilogy, the second part being called Revival. And so let's dive straight into it with the first instalment of the second part in the 10th volume of Eden by FREI, Revival, from the Bournemouth and Boscombe Trilogy. The Bournemouth and Boscombe Nude Beach Stroll is a joyous event that happens each year on the last Sunday in June. It starts at midday and goes on all afternoon, often into the evening, though not normally much beyond sunset. Anyone can participate irrespective of age, gender, ethnicity, religion, sexual, affective, or otherwise expressed orientation, looks, or outlook. It's really just an opportunity for anyone who wants to wander along the beach in the buff and feel good about themselves, about each other, and about the universe. Since nobody organises it, nobody owns it, other than the people who happen to be there taking part in it. And since nobody owns it, other than in the sense that everybody who takes part in it does, there are no rules beyond those of common sense and kindness. What you wear or don't wear is in fact up to you, but sunscreen is generally recommended. That said, the Bournemouth and Boscombe Nude Beach Stroll takes place in any weather at all, and it is not unheard of for everybody to get perfectly drenched, effectively taking a half-day-long shower, naked in the summer rain. Many people, especially the hardier ones who cover the whole stretch from Sandbanks to Eastcliff, like to don some comfortable footwear, and hats, owing to their pervasive usefulness, really come into their own here. They also come in all shapes and sizes. Something of a niche subculture thrives, whereby participants with time on their hands go to town over creating their own, but this is by no means compulsory. You don't even have to wear a hat. You don't have to wear anything. That's the beauty of the Bournemouth and Boscombe Nude Beach Stroll. That's the beauty of the Bournemouth and Boscombe Nude Beach Stroll. Since carrying anything, including your phone and money, is such a pain when you wear nothing, there is hardly any trade or commercial activity that particularly caters to the nude strollers. Instead, a convention has evolved whereby the hundreds of beach hut owners, whether they themselves feel compelled to join in the general nudity or prefer to wear their usual beach attire, entirely as is their wont, provide cups of tea, coffee, biscuits, or, if they are of a particularly generous bent, glasses of Pimm's to the strollers who stop by for a natter. There are, after all, and as many a pub and cafe along many a coastline has written on a sign above the bar or a chalkboard by the entrance quoting Yeats, no strangers, only friends who haven't yet met. And indeed, lifelong friendships have formed here among people who have lived maybe 3 or 4 streets away from each other, but who have never found an opportunity to as much as say hello until they stood on the beach by another neighbour's hut, sipping from a mug or a disposable cup, and maybe dunking a biscuit or enjoying a vape or an old-fashioned fag, overlooking the rhythmic roll of the sea. Some of these friendships flourish into love, and quite a few of the toddlers who run along on the pebbles here probably owe their presence to this fine and, at the end of the day, very British tradition. In that same tradition, though, sex in public is frowned upon. That is not to say, of course, that after hours and after dark in some of the huts or over the water at Studland, behind some of the dunes, in the relative privacy of the midsummer moonshine, some love is not made in the old-fashioned way, but in the main, and certainly for as long as the sun sits anywhere in the sky, the day and the evening are fully family-friendly. Nobody really knows now how it all started, but legend has it that 2 guys in their 20s had entered a dare to streak from the jazz cafe at the Sandbanks end of the bay all the way, some 7 or 8 miles along the seafront, to the beach house on the Christchurch harbour. It was about lunchtime, and they reckoned the sun was most definitely over the yardarm, so they had themselves a couple of cocktails for courage, stripped naked, and started to run. It took them all of about 50 yards before they were out of breath, and they thought that what is perfectly acceptable for mad dogs and Englishmen to go out in the midday sun, it was simply not the done thing to run. Instead, they eased into a gentle canter and then a trot, which readily transmuted into their stroll. Strolling, they realised to their delight, had the immense advantage of allowing them to hold a conversation while progressing slowly but pleasurably along the beach, and of course their bare-faced, bare-chested cheek and unclothed loins attracted a certain degree of attention. Also opprobrium at first, it has to be said, but they were charming about it and talked to anyone who wanted to talk to them, answering offence with banter and aggression with wit, and before long some mates, and then some mates of theirs, and some girlfriends, and then some girlfriend of theirs, and then people who didn't really know anyone but thought they were amongst a congenial bunch, started to join them, and by the time they all got to the beach house, they were having a regular blast. Of course, the most committed of purists now follow the route in its fullness in the original direction, but there is absolutely no obligation to do so. If you prefer to stroll with the sun in your eyes and head east to west, that's just as enjoyable. And if you simply want to sit on the beach or wander up and down a bit between the piers, that's perfectly fine. The whole point, as anyone who knows the Bournemouth and Boscombe nude beach stroll will tell you, is to be comfortable in your skin and to celebrate your communion with your fellow humans without stress or strain or pressure. And that is the first instalment of the second part of the Bournemouth and Boscombe Trilogy in the Eden Miniature series from Eden by FREI. I hope I'll see you again very soon. Until then, take good care, love and let love, and see you soon. Bye-bye.